Okay, so part 2. So, excuse me, they can say find the midpoint of, and they'll give you 2 coordinates. Okay, now when they give you coordinates, the first number is your X point, the second number is your Y point. Okay, X always takes preference over Y. Okay, so that would be 3, 2, so that's 3 on the X-axis and 2 on the Y, which is there, and then 1, 4, so that's 1 on the X-axis and 4 on the Y. Okay, now you can draw a line and we can see that here is the midpoint. Okay, it's the exact halfway point between those two. So you would just be asked to give that coordinate. Okay, so it's a 2 on the X-axis and it's a 3 on the Y-axis. Okay, that's as difficult as it gets. Now, to make it even simpler, what you can do, and you don't need a graph to do this, you really don't, is you do this. You take your 2 points, okay, so this is X, this is Y, this is X, this is Y, just to jog your memory. So you take the 2 X numbers, so 1 and 3, you add them together, which gives them 4, and you divide by 2. And that gives me 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. And you do exactly the same with the Y. So 4 plus 2 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. And lo and behold, you get the same answer. Okay, so if they said between the points, the midpoint of 5, 4 and 3, 2. Okay, without drawing it, 5, 4 and 3, 2. 5 plus 3 is 8, divided by 2 is 4, so that's my X, and my Y, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And that's it. That really is it. So if I just plot the points to prove the point, well, I can't draw 5, 4 because it's not there. But I can do a rough estimate. So let's say we've got 5, 4. So let's say 5 is around about here, and 4 is around about there, and 3, 2. So that's 3, 2. So that's there. So if I were to draw those 2 lines together, we can see that the midpoint is there, which is at 4, 3. That really is it. Okay, so you don't need a graph for any of this. Okay, if they say find the midpoint, add the X's together, divide by 2. Add the Y's together, divide by 2. Make sure you put them in the brackets with the comma in between. That's it. Sometimes you might get 4.5 and 3.5, but that is where the midpoint is going to be. Okay, it really is that simple. Okay, now I'm just going to pause for a second so that I can clear all this. Okay. So sometimes they can give you, I call it blind line, which is we have a line and they say find the equation of the line. Okay, so we know that the general term for a straight line, y equals mx plus c. So the only thing we've got to find is how steep is this line and where does it cut the y-axis. Well, finding where it cuts the y-axis is really easy because we can see. So y equals, it's going to be something x, and we can see that it cuts at plus 3. So all we need to know now is how many x. Now the line is going uphill, so I know it's going to be plus something x. Okay. Now to find the gradient, you'll see lots of long, elaborate ways of doing this, okay? But it's rise over run, okay? And I'll show you what I mean by that. You always run along the x-axis and you always rise on the y. So what I do is this, wherever it cuts the y-axis, okay, I come out one square. Okay, so I come out to where x is 1. Then I go up until I hit the line again. Okay, so my run has been 1 because I've just come along from where it's cut 1 square. And my rise is 1, 2. So my rise is 2. So 2 over 1. Rise of 2, run of 1. Anything over 1 is itself. So our gradient is 2. So that tells me how many x I have. I have 2x. So this line is the equation y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, really is that simple. And I always say come out 1 because then whatever your rise is, here it's 2, that will be your gradient. So if you come out 1 and you have to go up 4, then the gradient will be 4 because it will be 4 over 1 and anything over 1 is itself. So in that case it will be 4. Okay, so let's do another line. So let's say we have a line that does that, for example. Okay, so again, y equals mx plus c. Now I can see c is 2. So y equals something x plus 2. They won't always cut in a positive line, they might cut at -5, okay? So it could be y equals something x minus 5. So again, we want rise over run. So again, go to where it cuts the y-axis, okay? Now I can see this time the line is going downhill, okay? From left to right it's going downhill. So that means that this will be minus something x. So I can put in minus there. Okay. Now I just work out the gradient the same as normal. So I come out 1, so that's 1 square, and I go up until I hit the line again, which is here, and I've gone up 2. So as I said, if you go over 1, the rise is going to be your gradient, okay, because rise over run, 2 over 1 is 2. So it will be minus 2x plus 2 because the line is going downhill. Okay, so that's the equation of this line. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Okay, so it really is a question of keeping it simple and not letting yourself get bamboozled by a lot of mathematical jargon that goes on. Okay, always try and keep it simple. The key is y equals mx plus c. For any straight line, y equals mx plus c. And remember, this is where it cuts y, and this is your gradient, and then whether it's plus or minus depends on whether it's going uphill or downhill. Okay, I hope that's helped, and you know, maybe you can get to grips with it and see hopefully that it's not quite as difficult as you thought. Okay.